Hi, it's Josh McEwen here with episode 28 of Dufferin Spotlight on Business, where we bring your community to you by letting you know what's available in the area while highlighting the advantages of shopping local. And this week we are joined by Danielle Jenkins, the founder of Domestic Divas Cleaning Co., which offers professional commercial office, window, and residential cleaning services for their clients' properties in Dufferin County and beyond. To achieve success in this ultra-competitive market, businesses must go over and above for their clients, and even that may not be enough to distinguish oneself from the pack. Danielle's ability to perfect processes, such as their Sparkle Clean checklist, and put together a solid team has resulted in Domestic Divas Cleaning Co. establishing itself as an industry leader and expanding to cover a wide service area in a relatively short period of time. Furthermore, they are launching their own line of Domestic Divas Cleaning Co. branded cleaning products that you can purchase for your own use too. To learn more about Domestic Divas Cleaning Co., check out their website, domesticdivas.org, and follow them on social media. Big thanks to Danielle for her time and for making this possible, and thanks to you, the audience, for listening. I'm Josh McEwen. Hope you enjoy this episode of Dufferin Spotlight on Business. Thanks. Hi, I'm Josh McEwen with Dufferin Spotlight on Business, and today I'm joined by Danielle Jenkins, the founder of Domestic Divas Cleaning Co. Hi, Danielle. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm super excited and can't wait to tell you and everybody listening about the company.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It is appreciated, and I can't wait to learn more. So can you please give us a brief background on yourself and your business?
My name's Danielle Jenkins. I have grown up in Dufferin County for 17 years after moving from England, United Kingdom, not, a small town or anything, but so moving here and grew up in Dufferin County. I'm 24 years old now, and I founded the company 4 years ago. And we're just a luxury commercial and residential cleaning company servicing, Dufferin County, Wasaga, Collingwood, Blue Mountain, Bolton, Alliston, Orangeville, Shelburne, Dufferin County, and Toronto. So we're growing quick, and it's super amazing, and we love it, and I can't wait to see what the future has in store.
Wow, you cover a lot of area.
Yes, we do. It's and you know what? It's something that's kind of come in. And further into the interview with some of the questions, a part of it, I talk about how important it is to never stop working, like you're still growing the company. And that is something, expanding into all of those areas, we definitely had to take into consideration because, people would call and you have to make that decision of, do we want to expand into that right away? And we have to make sure that we are able to, one, cover that and make sure that we maintain our reputation without screwing it up. So it's definitely a lot to expand, but we love it. And everybody in those areas are great clients of ours, and we're super thankful to have them.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. So what would you say are your most popular products or services?
So we are a service-based company, so we don't have any products as of yet, but that's another exciting thing that I guess I can announce on here. We are actually coming out with a Domestic Divas Cleaning Co. product line for all of our residential and commercial clients to use. So that's exciting. So we'll elaborate more into that. But for the meantime, we are a service-based company, and our number one service is residential cleaning, and then followed by commercial and office cleaning. And the residential thing has always been our, main source of business, but the commercial and office cleanings actually expanded even more during COVID because we couldn't do residential. The commercial cleaning and the residential cleaner are kind of on par now. So it's really nice because we have diverse teams where we have people who love to do the residential, and then we have them that also love to do the commercial. And so it's nice. Everybody kind of gets what they want to do. So that's really nice.
Oh, that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought of, I mean, I do know that there was a decrease of in-home services like with PSWs and other things like that. So, I mean, it makes sense with residential cleaning, it would be the same. But it's great to know that the commercial side has expanded and again, has gone on par with the residential side. That's amazing.
Right.
That's great.
Thank you.
So what would you say makes you different than the competition?
Oh, good question. Okay, so at Domestic Divas Cleaning Co., we do focus on bringing professionalism and sophistication to the cleaning industry. Many people look at the cleaning industry as something that kind of anyone can do because it takes little education, little overhead to start. Almost anyone who doesn't have a physical limitation can do it. And so because of this, many people start a cleaning business without knowing the struggles and intensity of, the management, the hiring process, the customer communication, all of the organization behind it all. And people don't realize it. And so this is where us at Domestic Divas Cleaning Co., we've created systems for every single aspect of the company, from clients, staff, management, billing, making it all really efficient and sophisticated, where a lot of other companies or businesses or even our quote unquote competition, where they lack in that. And so we, focus on that. And it's not been easy. I mean, we take, I guess it's been almost 4 years and we've taken, up to this point, and we're still perfecting it every day to make it perfect, because, you learn as you go, and it's definitely been difficult. So hats off to anybody who has done it, because it's flipping difficult. So that's where we do, we are kind of the top in the industry for those things. We're very efficient. Our clients love the ease and the sophistication of everything. So that's where we can hold it true to us.
Well, I can just say personally, from dealing with you so far, it's been very easy. Just communicating with you on your side and getting everything organized. It's been great so far. So, I mean, if that's at any indication of how you run the business, I can understand why you're doing so well. 100%.
Oh, well, thank you. It is difficult though. There are days where I'm very unorganized, and same with our staff. And we are honest about it because it is hard.
Well, you're covering a lot in a lot of areas, so I mean that's understandable. So,
thank you.
So what do you think the customer should look for when doing business with somebody in your profession?
Okay, so again, going back to my point about how the cleaning industry kind of, everybody can do it. Again, and this is where we do kind of take the cake, because anybody can just go in and clean, really. I mean, that is easy. One, it depends on your target audience and what they want. I mean, anybody can, it makes anybody's life easy to, clean a bathroom, sweep a floor, and clean the kitchen, I guess. Otherwise, there's other cleaning, or I guess some of our clients, for example, they want something as deep as, laundry, the way their beds are made, the way their towels are folded, like all of those things. So it depends on extremities, right? So when you're looking at somebody in our profession, it's not necessarily the cleaning or what they do, really, that is important, because anybody, you or I could tell anybody to do as something as basic as just, sweep a floor, or as extreme as the way their soaps are folded on or put on top of their folded towels. So when it comes down to the actual business of cleaning, first of all, I'd like to note that it's actually a company or a business with a license, because a lot of people, they don't, and it's just a cash thing. And then you're looking at a lot of liabilities. So one thing for us, we provide things like insurance, we bond our staff, training, our hiring processes are very intense, and reliability. I mean, in every industry, there's little things we can't rely on absolutely everything being 100% all of the time. There's unfortunate events, not all staff are as committed or loyal to the company as you hope. So we do our very best to ensure that these things are taken care of, but again, we can't guarantee it. So looking at things that customers should look for when doing business with a cleaning company, whether it's us or another one, just make sure they do have insurance. Their staff are bonded. They're not just bringing everybody that they know off of the street to help clean a home. You never know who's going to be there, because people are going into your house, and they're seeing your personal life, your personal belongings, and all of these things. So that's definitely an important thing. And I mean, even with insurance, you can't guarantee that somebody's not going, or even with a police check, you can't guarantee that somebody's not going to steal from you. But that's why our training and our hiring processes are so immaculate, because we want to be able to trust those people before we just send them on in and hope. You know what I mean? So those are the big things, because anybody can learn to clean. It's the safety, the insurance, and the police checking, I guess, that would be the most important thing with our profession, I'd imagine.
100%, 100%. I mean, finding the right people is extremely hard. And especially in a business like this, I imagine. I mean, attention to detail is extremely important in something like this, I imagine, too. So,
Is. And again, that is a skill that can be taught. You can't teach people to be decent people and, to not steal and to not, break in or whatever. So the best thing is to just, so it is difficult with staffing. Like that's why our hiring is so important, because we want to make sure that, we trust those people. And like I said, when anybody can learn to clean, it's the decency and the morals of these people. And one thing that I do, I always screen the people or our potential staff personally. And if I get a bad gut feeling, you could be the best cleaner in the world, but if I get a bad gut feeling or bad energy, you are not coming into our team, because, I trust my own gut and I know what I'm looking for to build our company with. So that's the most important thing.
100%, 100%. Well, I mean, it's led you this far, right? Would you like to mention any family or friends?
Yeah. Okay. So, family and friends. I have a very supportive group of people around me. And I also choose to have a very particular group of friends. So, one thing that I heard when I was really young, I was kind of really interested in the entrepreneurial and business life at a really young age. And I did a lot of research and reading. So one of the things that I heard very young was that you become the result of the top 5 people you hang out with. And that really made me consider who I spend most of my personal time with. I mean, business, you have to deal with people whether you like them or not, unfortunately. But personally, I'm very particular with who I spend my time with, friends and colleagues. So, I'm just thankful to have like my mom, my family, my stepdad, my brother. They're very supportive of everything that I do. They understand the craziness of my life and the company and my passion for the company, right? And so that's a big thing, and they're very supportive. My mom also understands because she also has her own company. And then my friends, they are great friends because they know that I don't get to see them, 3 times a week, and it's usually about once every 3 months. So I'm very blessed to have a great group of friends like that.
It's important to have people that understand things like that, because I mean, there are people that get offended pretty easily when you don't spend the right amount of time with them.
Right. They can't be demanding in my life, that's for sure.
So did you have any role models or positive influences growing up?
Yes. So this is a question I'm always asked. And personally, my biggest role model was my mom. And I know that sounds very cliche, it's kind of like everybody's like, oh yeah, my mom, right? But for me, it's even more than that. So we moved from England 17 years ago, and shortly after, my brother got really sick and my dad left. So my parents divorced. And so, my mom had 2 young children, and she was in the role of being a stay-at-home mom, and she was financially dependent on my dad for the time being. I mean, a lot of women are as well who are raising children, and it's a team partnership. Well, when my dad left, I had to watch my mom struggle as a single mom to raise 2 young children and, to pay the bills, keep the house, and make sure that we were taken care of. And so I watched her do that and get through all of that, working 3 jobs. And then she actually, on the side, I guess at the time it would have been like a side hustle for her, but now it's actually her very own successful empire, Select Mortgage Corp, here in Orangeville. So, that's been a 14-year project for her, but I watched that from the very beginning, and I watched her, never give up, bust her ass every day, raise 2 children. I mean, I just own a company now and I struggle. So I couldn't imagine doing this and raising 2 kids and dealing with a divorce at the same time. So I mean, she was my biggest role model personally, and still is to this day. I mean, I still can't believe the stuff that she's accomplished with all of those hurdles. And so, so she was my positive influence or role model personally. And then, I also have an immense amount of positive mentors in my young business life. Everything from my corporate lawyer, for example, he's a very close friend of mine. So, he does all of my legal stuff for the company, but we've also become very good friends. And he, being older, has built his law firm. So, we can discuss challenges and hurdles and things that we all deal with on a day-to-day basis in business. And then business colleagues and clients who have actually become mentors and friends. Some of my clients who also have their own businesses, we chit chat about the usual stuff. You know what I mean? So it's really nice to have that when you become close with your clients. And then I'm also a part of many business women networks all over the world, you know, everywhere from BC to another one we're part of is all over the world. So we have a once a month conference call with people all over the world, and it's very cool. And they're, you know, CEOs of companies, their own companies. And so we're very close with that too. And so they're a lot of mentors and positive influences. And with me being so young, I really consider that a blessing, because I have a lot of older people in my life who have been through what I've been through at an even later point in their life. So when they say to me, oh, you've already figured that out, you're on a right track, that's really inspiring and encouraging. And I go to them for any questions or challenges that I may have, and they can give me their experience with it, and we work through it. So it's really nice. Yeah, I have a lot of positive role models and influences, and I'm very thankful for that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, I think what you mentioned about your mom is important. I mean, because I mean, I remember when I was like in the corporate world, and just when I talked to a lot of people in general, they always mention like these celebrities or people they don't know, and they really don't have a personal connection with them. And I mean, I understand how they are inspirational, but to have a role model like that you actually know that you've seen overcome some real hurdles and
Mm-hmm.
real challenges, it really does help you understand and put things into perspective, and actually benefits you more than just, you know, like talking about, I don't know, like Elon Musk or Bill Gates or
Yeah.
again, just some
Yeah.
nonsense like that. Like, so I mean,
I
no,
mean, don't get me wrong. They are all inspirational to me. I mean, I follow them all on Facebook, on Instagram, and, you know, I see their stuff and I'm like, damn, you know, that's where I want to be. Or, you know, even some of the really powerful business women moguls that are around, you know, like Arlene Dickinson,
yeah.
and even Michelle off of Dragon's Den. I mean, she is a firecracker. And I mean, I love them, and they're total role models for me. But when it comes down to like the everyday stuff, I mean, I don't know what Michelle went through at, you know, 24. So how can I relate to that, where I watched my mom at 24 do these things and, you know, get over it? So for me, it's more of a personal thing, because I was there. I was in there. You know, I watched her struggle to buy us Christmas presents at 24, but then now, or sorry, when she was 24, and now I'm 24, and I see that, you know, I can see how far she's come. And now, she, like I said, she has this empire, and it's, you know, it's phenomenal. So yeah, I like, but I don't get me wrong. I do look at Elon Musk and, you know, Bill Gates, and I'm like, oh, damn, those are definitely where I'm going.
So would you like to discuss your education?
Sure, yeah. So this is a funny question that I do always get asked as well when I'm doing things like this. So as a young student, I was always a very good student, always getting high grades, working hard, and I was actually focused on going to university. So schooling was super important to me. And I think when you and I first started chatting, I told you kind of the life circumstances that were thrown my way young. And so the only reason that education wasn't more, or I guess getting to university wasn't so important to me at that time, was just, you know, life circumstances, and schooling got pushed back, like to the back of my priorities, I guess. I had other things that were a higher priority at the time. But then that's when the company was founded. And so people always ask me my thoughts on education, and I actually struggle to answer it, because I was able to found a successful company without education. And I kind of just learned the ins and outs of business and life with experience and not a textbook. So for me, I mean, I obviously, if you want to be a doctor and open up your own, you know, hospital, then I would imagine, you know, education is important. But I mean, I could have spent, you know, 3 or 4 years in a business degree or a business education thing. And I mean, I would have probably learned the exact same stuff that I'm learning now. But I mean, at the end of the day, I also have people that do all those things, you know, the accounting, the legal department, and all of those things are all done with other people. So education, I mean, I have a high school degree. I did extremely well. I, you know, got my diploma. I had high grades, but did education get me to where I am now? The traditional schooling education, no, but self-education did. I do an immense amount of research and programs and just like summits and conferences and stuff to teach myself on things, on how I can be a better leader, how I can have a better company morale, how I can, all of these little things. And sometimes it's at 3 a.m. when I'm laying in bed and my brain goes, oh, you know what? I should probably be a better trainer or a better this for my company. And so then I Google it, and then I read books, and I order Amazon books, and then I read, and that's how I do it. So education is definitely important. Never stop learning. But is the traditional education system, did it really help me get to me where I am now? Not really. So that's why I always struggle answering it, because I'm not saying it's a bad thing to go to school, but I'm not saying that I really needed it.
No, and I mean, I mentioned this in the very first episode of Dufferin Spotlight on Business. I went to school for business, and if you want to work for a corporation, or again, if you want to get those like professional credentials where like you are getting it, being an accountant, like a corporate lawyer, those kinds of things, like it is worthwhile, because I mean it's necessary. But
Mhm.
if you want to run your own business, then it is not. It can be useful in certain aspects, but it is definitely not necessary. And sometimes it's even detrimental, because I mean, again, they're conditioning you to work in a corporation, and that's not that's a different mindset than what you're doing with small business, or even in some cases they're training you to work in government, which is
Right.
completely different than small business. Um,
Right.
and I mean, so I mean, it's no, I mean, the path you've taken, it makes a lot of sense that it has led to what it's led, where you are moving fast, and you are not like you're doing your own research versus going on these pre-established norms. And again, you are learning some of these norms from your research, but again, you are having to do things such as listen to your gut instead of just going on with what you've been taught. And because
Right.
again, that can work against you. Listening to your gut is a good thing, and it does help a lot of the time, especially in business.
Right. And I mean, even down to that, like, if I have, for example, if I had a client email me and have an issue, those are so, I mean, that is something I have to deal with, and that cannot be taught in a textbook. I mean, I could say, okay, if a client complains, this is how, you respond to the email, or, you know what I mean? But everybody is so different, and everybody handles things so different. I would handle it different than how you would handle it, and vice versa. And so those are the things, the education can't teach you, but the life and the experience can. And you know what? If you have to lose clients because you're learning, or if you gain clients because you're learning, and it's all a learning curve. And that's what I said to you at the beginning. I'm still figuring it out. Yeah, we have our systems, and yeah, we have things, but I'm still, fixing and altering and making new versions of things to try and figure it out. And I'll probably never figure it out fully, but I'm loving the journey. And that's another reason why it's so important to love what you do, because you have to love doing it. And you have to be passionate about wanting to do all of these things. So yeah, so that's why the experience and just immersing yourself in it is so important.
Well, when people think they have figured everything out, they start getting sloppy. And I mean, in your business, that can't happen. So I mean,
Right.
it's it's great that you're always are learning, and always trying to improve things. Because I mean, again, the moment that stops, that's when real problems start to arise. Um,
Right.
e- Especially with management, and especially with leadership. And I mean, it's important you keep everything you're doing the kind of the way that it is. I mean, as far as like character traits and things like that go. So I mean, no, very important, very
Yeah.
important.
And it's funny that you mentioned the character traits, because we're always expanding, hiring new team members, and everybody is different, right? So my leadership skills for some of the team may work great, and but then they may not work for other people. I've had some people say that I'm too energetic, that I'm too, I guess, front. I don't even really know the right word, but like, too much, overbearing, and not in a negative way, but I'm so passionate. And I guess for some people it is just a job. And so when I'm, excited, and I'm rambling, and I'm like, getting everybody on the same page, and inspiring and motivating them, and not only for the company, but for their own, goals and their own personal development, sometimes, I've had a couple people say, you're very overbearing when it comes to that. And for me, I don't find it a negative thing, but sometimes I just know that I have to relay that message in a less, I guess, dramatic way, and maybe just give it to them on a piece of paper or something. I don't really know. So those are the things that I'm saying when I'm constantly educating myself on leadership and stuff like that, because I, for example, do a lot of research on like personality traits. So I'm a very dominant, I don't know if you know the DISC personality program at all, but I'm a very DI, and it's a dominant and exciting person. So somebody who's a very shy person, I may be very intimidating. And so I do research on how do I, as a dominant leader, um, get things across to somebody who's very shy or very quiet or an introvert, because I want to have that diversity of people on my team, because that also helps with our clients. But I need to work on that. I need to deal with my own things that, and it's not a bad thing. It's just teaching myself how to deal with them and how to accept their character traits and how they're going to work with mine. So even that is education, that is constantly having to be taught and researched and looked upon, because if I didn't, I'd probably lose team members, I'd lose clients, and I'd probably not be here.
And again, but also at the same time, like, it is show like you're always looking to improve and adapt. Because I mean, even in those kinds of things, like you said, like it translates to clients too. Because I mean, clients are all different as well. Like you learning how to deal with those employees also helps you deal with those different kinds of clients with different personalities as well. Oh yeah, and I remember what I was going to say about the positive influences. Um, when it comes to like the ones that like versus the ones that you see on television and things like that, like the ones you see in real life are real versus the ones that go through publicists and like all that.
Right.
Like, so I mean, at least those ones are a lot more meaningful. So I mean, like
Yes.
it helps a ton, because again, it is real and you know exactly what people are going through. Well, not exactly, but you get more of insights into what they're actually going through versus fiction.
Right. And versus, what you see on a magazine cover and, all of those things. So yeah, no, you're totally right about that.
Yeah, because I mean, there are a lot of frauds out there, especially the higher.
Yeah, definitely.
So would you like to discuss any personal struggles you've overcome?
Okay, so let me think. So going to be honest, I actually don't consider anything in my life a struggle. And this is kind of a funny mentality. And again, this is something that I've taught myself, back to the education about, I've done a lot of research on how do you stay motivated in days where you don't feel like doing anything, or when you don't feel like getting out of bed. And unfortunately, that's even everything's, intertwined, because I said about, you have to love what you do, because, you know, even on the days that you don't feel like getting out of bed, everybody has them. Unfortunately, in my industry, being the owner, being the manager, and these people that say, oh, you own the business, take the day off and go golfing. Yeah, it doesn't happen. So, you have to teach yourself to still be motivated. So in my search for that mentality and how to stay motivated on days where you feel like throwing your hands up and going, screw it, you change your mentality to a positive, blessed, grateful, mindful mentality. So I almost consider what people would consider struggles like blessings or lessons. So many of the things that many people would consider them, they actually have made me who I am today. So for example, moving from England to Canada, then my parents divorcing, watching my mom struggle in her early years of single motherhood, like that's a lesson to me. Yeah, it was flipping hard, watching my mom do that, losing my dad, watching my brother struggle, losing my friends from England, all of those little things. Yes, it was hard then, and yes, it was a struggle then. But now I look back and it was a total lesson and a blessing at the same time, because it taught me to, like on a really basic level, it taught me to never rely on another person for income and finances and to create your own. So that's why I'm very independent now. I don't ever want to be in a situation where I have to rely or stay with somebody on an intimate relationship basis, just because I need them to support me financially. So that's a big lesson that I was taught myself. And my mom learned that later on in her years, obviously. So, even down to that, that was a lesson. And then putting off university for other personal reasons. It made me resilient and create a company and work even harder to prove to myself and to other people that I don't need a degree to own a company. A lot of people consider people who are CEOs or own companies or business moguls, the automatic stigma is that people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars going to school for business and law and all of these things. And so when I remember this actually, and this is, feel free to put this on the air, my dad told me one time when we actually were still close many years ago, probably about 6 or 7 years ago, he told me that if I never married a successful man, I would never be successful. Okay. So, and I mean, yeah, okay, I'm sure it's every daddy's wish that their little girl gets, taken care of and all of those things. But to me, it was like a subconscious motivation to say, well, I don't need a man to do that for me. I'm going to do it myself. So again, that was a struggle hearing that from your own dad, but I turned it into a positive thing. Going through some of the personal relationships I have, for example, that were very struggling, they have taught me the importance of family, personal time, and quality time with important people, considering I've lost some relationships due to my passion and obsession with work. Again, a lesson I've learned, I've lost friends because I am always immersed. And that's why I was saying to you, it's so important to have people who support you and are in your circle.
Yeah.
But I've had people that have said to me, I can't handle seeing you once every 3 weeks. So we're going to cut this off. And yes, it's a blessing because I don't really want people in my life that don't support me anyways. But I still have to sometimes take a step back and think, okay, I do need to go for dinner with this person. I do need to work on this relationship. So everything's always a lesson to me. And like I said, these people would hear these things and we consider them struggles, but I consider them lessons, and they've made me a better person and exactly who I am today. And I honestly, I love who I am. So I can't even say that they're struggles.
There's quite a bit, like there's people that don't understand things like that, and it's you have tough decisions to make, that's for sure. Like it is tough. So did you start, buy, or inherit this business?
I actually started this business myself. So I think I'm pretty sure when you and I first started chatting about doing this, I kind of gave you a little bit of a backstory, but I'll give a little bit now without divulging too much. So I actually started this business out of desperation for fast money. And it was when I was going through a separation very young. So I was in a relationship and the relationship was ending, and I was left with quite a large amount of debt at a young age. And I was still actually considering going to university after this. So I was thinking to myself, how on earth am I going to go to university this young, start my life with this much debt? And I'm sure a lot of people listening, or even yourself, have heard of the phrase, don't chase the money, chase the dream, and the money will come. And it's very true. And the reason, yes, I started the business out of desperation for fast money to pay off the debt, but I still did something that I loved to do. I still loved cleaning. I loved organizing. I loved all of that. So I officially founded the company in 2017. I guess that's when it was official. But prior to that, about a year and a half earlier, like I said, I started it. I literally handed out flyers saying house cleaning, and I put them in some mailboxes, and I got a few clients, and I was 24/7 to build the reputation and the clientele. And shortly after, within 8 months, I paid off all of the debt, and I had a company kind of right at my fingertips. So it was like, at that point, I either had to continue or shut it down, because it was getting to a point where people knew the company, people knew the business, people knew me for what I was doing. And like I said, I couldn't just kind of sit. I had to either shoot with it or pull it back. So that's when it started.
Wow. It's impressive every time I hear it. I mean, that's amazing, because I mean, like, it is like it's so much to overcome. And I mean, like, It's amazing all that you've done. Like, I mean, and again, in such a short period of time. And again, I don't like harping, like focusing on people's age and things like that. But I mean, like, you are relatively young and you've done quite a bit. And again, you've accomplished quite like a lot. You're covering a lot of area, and
Thank you.
it's a tough bit. I know it's a competitive business.
It
It's not an easy one, especially when you start getting into these commercial environments.
hmm
You like, I can only imagine. Like, so I mean, like, no, extremely impressive.
Yeah,
Especially again,
and you do. You have to have that step ahead. You know, you have to be that number one. When people think of the cleaning or getting your home or your office clean, you want to be the top of their list. And it's really hard because it is such a really putting everything aside. It is such a basic business to do. It's so easy. Anybody can, you know, come up with a cute little name and buy a mop and a vacuum and some Windex and start. That's what I mean. It is a very easy thing. The hardest part is continuing and building that reputation and building and being that one step ahead of all of the rest, you know?
well, low barriers to entry means it's extremely easy for people to get in, and it's
Mhm.
whatchamacallit, and that results in more competition. Because like you said,
Right.
it was a way for you to make quick money. But the
Yeah.
thing is, you have the personality, you have you had the willpower to make it happen and to go further and actually again make a real business around this and a reputation. And again, like you said,
Mhm.
be a step ahead of the competition because you have to be. That's amazing. Like again, it's just amazing. Again, and again, I don't like to focus on age too much, but I mean, it is amazing what you've done, and again, everything you've
Yeah.
overcome on top of that. Like it's pretty awesome. So, what was your biggest challenge in starting this business?
Um, so back to my previous point, you know, I don't consider much a challenge per se. I guess the only thing was getting that first round of clients to fill my own personal schedule. That was probably the hardest thing. I mean, really, I didn't really know what I was doing. I had no system. I had no checklists. I had no efficiency, like none of that. I didn't even have a uniform. I think for the first little bit I was wearing scrubs. So you know, like all of these little things that really I look back and I go, how did I even do this? And you know, now with what I have, you know, every day I'm working on that efficiency and that those systems. I look back, I'm like, how did I do it without this? You know, so I guess, like I said, the only thing that was a challenge was getting that first round of clients to fill my own schedule. You know, I looked at my paper notes and I had my Monday to Friday and my days and my times, and I just worked on filling each one by one. And after I did that and built the great reputation between those ones, the clients just came pouring in. Um, and you know, I guess another small challenge was finding an efficient way to organize everything once we hit that level of like craziness, you know, invoicing, payments, and scheduling. When it was just myself for, you know, the first 2 months, I guess, when I was just starting the business, I was doing everything just on my phone calendar, and then I would just do like paper invoices, and they would just give me a cashier check. So it was very, very almost like archaic or barbaric, because now we use like a whole system that has its own app, and all of our clients have client hubs and online payments and like all of these little things. And I just wish I would have known about this then, because it would have made me a hell of a lot, you know, happier and stress free, I think, if I had all of those then, because it was definitely difficult once, you know, we started that first team member, and I'm thinking, well, how am I going to get her schedule? So then we were doing it via email, and it was just very inefficient. It just was awful. So now that we have these things, I'm so thankful. But again, those challenges are what made me realize that I needed those systems put in place, and that's why the biggest thing now is the organization and the efficiency. So yeah, so those were my challenges.
There definitely are those learning curves. I mean, I know just with starting up this, um, wishing you knew about certain pieces of software, like an app or something like that, that just made things a lot easier, and it helps a ton. I mean, again, there are definitely those learning curves with any business, especially when you get to things like billing and things like that. That is definitely a common issue. Definitely.
Right.
So, so do you have any advice for those starting their own business?
Yes. Okay. I mean, I have quite a few little tidbits of information that kind of come into my head all the time. So a few things. Always work, accommodate, and impress your clients or your colleagues or whomever you're doing business with. Like you're still trying to find those first clients. Personal experience. Like I said, when I was first starting, my focus was filling those schedules, filling all the time, making those clients happy, building that reputation. And I find that a lot of people, and I actually did this myself, so I can speak from experience. Yes, we have a great reputation, but you know, you always hear people say, "Oh yeah, you're your own boss. You know, go golfing for the day. Shut off your phone. You know, you need personal time or whatever." Well, this is the thing. When I first started, if somebody called me on Sunday night at 9 o'clock and they needed it Monday morning, but I already had a client at 9 a.m., I would go in at 5 to make sure that those clients were taken care of. I mean, yes, now I don't need, I still try to accommodate every single person as best as I can. I mean, without blaming myself, clearly. I'm not going to work 24/7. But you know, if you have, you know, an evening where you're really not doing anything, don't say no to those clients. You know, try to do what you can to help them. I mean, it's easier said than done. I understand everybody gets tired, but those are the things that people remember. You know, we called her last minute. She fit us in so quick. They got it done. We were so easy. It took the stress away, blah, 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 blah. Those are the things people say, right? So that's a big one, is just always work, accommodate, and impress like you're still trying to get those first clients. Back to the competition thing, you know, always educate, implement ways to stay on top of the competition, be the first of thought for your target market. Yeah, that's just something that I do all of the time, educate myself and just looking at better ways to implement efficiency. Staying organized, that's a big one. It's very hard though, and I'm sure everybody can speak to that, especially with families and friends and all those things, but I try my very best. And one thing that I always hold true to my personal life, not just business, is not letting your circumstances define you, but rise above them, because of the quote unquote challenges that we go through. A lot of people take those and turn them into reasons for their negative habits instead of turning them into positive motivation. So, you know, it doesn't matter how good you are in whatever industry, there's always people that you're never going to make happy. There's always people that you may screw up and, you know, leave a sour taste in their mouth. It is what it is. And those are things that we have to just rise above and learn from them. Again, they're a lesson. They're not a challenge. So if, for example, you know, I double booked one of my cleaners for a place, and one of my clients got extremely frustrated with me because they weren't going to get their home cleaned today, and they decided to use a different company because of that one error. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about that. I can beg, plead, and offer the best resolution possible, but unfortunately, it's not always going to happen. So those are things, you know, like staying organized and not letting that one little thing make you throw in the towel, because that one little thing really doesn't matter. If it keeps happening day in, day out, yes, okay, it's going to matter. But that one little thing, it won't. So just rise above it and take those little circumstances or little challenges as lessons. And my one final thing that this is funny going in, and people can relate to, success doesn't happen overnight. And just because you start a company doesn't mean you're going to get a $10,000 check your first month. It does take time. I swear to God, people hear that you have a business and they think you are a millionaire and you have ATM written on your forehead. And, you know, I feel like people who are in business or own a company, they learn a weird way of handling money and their finances. I mean, the people that I know anyways, like, you know, because money may not be consistent, you learn how to handle that and to manage that. And we get really good at it. But a lot of people think, oh, I'm just going to start a company and I'm going to be a millionaire by next year. Probably not going to happen. I mean, it could, but just don't go in thinking that, because if you do, you will be let down. And you're not, like I said, you're not going to get that $10,000 client right away. It might take a few months or a few years.
Yeah.
So that's just some advice.
Yeah, and if you start treating your business like an ATM, like if you do get to the point where your business does have like good revenue and profits, you start treating it like an ATM, then it's going to go downhill anyway. So I mean,
Right.
it's important, again, like you said, a lot of business owners know that cash flow is inconsistent a lot of the time. Sometimes it's not, but a lot of the times it is. And you got to manage your cash flow properly. Like it is shown that, like, especially family businesses, because I mean, you're supporting a family and your family's
Right.
dependent on it. They're a lot better at they keep a lot more money in the business than many other, especially public companies, obviously, because they give it out to shareholders and they invest in other
Yeah.
things like that. But they keep a lot more cash in the business on a relative basis than big companies, especially, again, the smaller, more family-based ones. So, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, because I mean, you just have to learn those skills, especially, again, when cash flow is inconsistent. Um,
Right. Right.
so I missed asking this question before, but I mean, this is a big change of what we just discussed. But what was the biggest problem you experienced during COVID?
Oh, okay. So the biggest quote unquote problem was that the government shut down residential cleaning.
Yeah,
I know that other non-company or non-business cleaners who, just helped out friends and family, they did continue it. But with us being a business, if we would have continued, it could have been a huge fine. And I mean, just the safety of my staff and my clients is well worth, taking care of them
yeah,
instead of getting anybody sick. So during the time that we shut down the residential cleaning, so that was, I think, from like March 17th. And, it's funny, I think everybody was in the same boat. When it kind of announced that we had to go on like this 2-week lockdown, everybody literally thought it was just going to be 2 weeks. So I think we shut down March 17th. And so we shut down for 2 weeks, everything. And I think in my schedule, I had a conference call booked for April 1st to discuss reopening after that 2-week lockdown. Well, we didn't end up reopening until I think July 1st. Because we weren't allowed. And I think I think it was June 1st, because I think the government put into play that we could reopen residential cleaning as of May 17th. And it took that time to ensure we had the correct PPE and all of the right procedures and masks and everything in place to be able to continue. So I think, it was June 1st that we quote unquote reopened. But I mean, even during the lockdown, we did implement as many commercial contracts as possible to keep as many of our staff employed. So we did spend a couple of weeks learning the COVID-19 procedures and implementing the PPE, the safety measures, reading all of the stuff that the WHO were putting out and all of those things. So we could help out our commercial locations that did need to remain open. But our residential, which we love, was shut down. So that was the hardest thing, but we were able to pivot. We were able to get busy with the commercial locations. And even now, I mean, a lot of commercial places are still open and are still needing that extra COVID cleaning, sanitization, and all of that. So, I mean, it was a problem that we had to shut down our residential cleaning. But just like the rest of the world, I mean, we all struggled with the first little bit of that to try and figure out what the best thing to do was. And I feel like we handled it very well with what we were able to do. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, like, to be able to pivot like that, and again, so quickly, based on the limited information that was being given by governments as far as what businesses could do and what they should do, and again, the supports that were available to everybody, like it was very hard to make a good decisions back then. So I mean, the fact that, again, you're able to pivot your business and go into these new areas and grow them to the point where they're on par with your mainline, the residential side, then that's amazing. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it was scary because nobody really knew what to do, right? Like nobody, like I said, we all considered the first 2 weeks that was all it was going to be, and the world was going to go back to normal. And here we are still today dealing with this potential, I guess we are in this second wave and all of these little things. So even that, I mean, we had to implement a lot of changes, even down to waivers. We've had to, any new clients that have come in, we've had to give them, COVID waivers, where if they are choosing to have us in their home and we are doing our best and our procedures and protocols to ensure that we're not giving COVID, we still have to protect us, because we never know what's going to happen. And considering there's no precedent on this, we have no idea. So, to protect us with the waivers, and everybody has to wear masks, and, all these things. And even just down to masks. I mean, I think I went through 5 or 6 different styles, material, and brands of masks, just to make sure that, my staff can still work without dying. But being able to wear masks for obvious reasons. So yeah, the whole thing, it's totally crazy. But I'm very proud of my team and how they have handled it. They are phenomenal, and hats go off to them, because they are the ones out there kind of on the front lines dealing with it, and they're great, and I'm so thankful for them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It is important, especially against staff during times like this. It's important to keep them safe, and it's important to value them, because it's the workers are what keep the businesses going a lot of the time.
Yeah, and that's another thing that actually I should put out there for my tips on anybody having their own business. Some people, they don't have staff. Some people do. It just depends on the nature of their business. But one thing that I've learned, your clients, and I apologize if any of my clients are listening to this, but my clients are not my first priority. My staff are. Because if my staff are taken care of, my staff are happy, my staff are paid, my staff are, they love their job, they will take care of my clients. My biggest priority and my most important thing is my clients, my cleaners and my staff, because without them, I wouldn't have this dream company. And I'm so thankful that they're all on the same page and on the same mission as we are. And they take care of my clients every single day. And I'm so thankful for that. So if you do hire staff, take care of them first.
100%. Well, I mean, you've mentioned how it's difficult to find the right people. I mean, it's to work for you. I mean, I think it's a lot easier to find a new customer in this business than it is to find a good cleaner that's going to stick with you, that's trustworthy.
Right.
Those people are few and far in between, I imagine. Especially, again, ones that will stay with you for a while. So yeah, I mean, that is great advice, because I mean, again, taking care of your workers is extremely important. I mean, some people have lost perspective on that during all this, including clients. I mean, again, we've seen what happens to some of these people working the stores with the whole masking issue. So are you currently hiring?
Yes. So we are currently hiring. We are expanding in Dufferin and Collingwood, and actually Toronto as well. But our main focus right now is Dufferin and the Collingwood area. We do have an extensive hiring process, and we welcome anyone to come for an interview and potentially join our team. Cleaning can always be taught. We're looking for great people, as long as they're willing to learn and be taught and take the initiative and follow the training process that we put into place, then, I think anybody could do it. But it does take a special personality and a special kind of person to want to do this job to what we're looking for. So, if anybody is looking for a job, I'd love to connect with you. And if you want any more information, go to our website. That is www.domesticdivascleaningco.org, and hit the job opportunity tab, and then you'll find the information there to begin the application process and upload your resume, and then we can have a chat.
Awesome. So on a related note, do you have any plans for expansion?
Yes. So we are expanding. We're always expanding day in, day out. But again, our main focus right now is Dufferin and Collingwood. And then Toronto for commercial. That is a huge expansion that we're working on right now. Collingwood residentially, and Dufferin, a little bit of commercial and residential. We are working on expanding. So we're just focused on growing those areas, increasing our manager and cleaning staff numbers, and seeing what happens. I mean, we're super excited for it, and the whole team is working on it. So it's great.
That's awesome. So have you exceeded your original goals?
So if I'm being honest, I never really had any original goals for the company. As like I said, it was just founded out of desperation for money. I guess I hit my first goal was paying off my debt personally. And then I guess after developing a passion for creating a dream company and something that I love working on every day, and being the number one in our industry, which is our goal. I mean, like I said, our focus and our mission is bringing sophistication and professionalism to the cleaning industry. And I think we've done that. We've implemented so many great procedures and policies. Our team members are phenomenal. Our staff know all of the things that we need to do. Our clients know exactly what we bring to the table. So I guess now we just have goals for having a solid group of managers and cleaners in every area. And then, we have our typical financial goals within the company. So we're on par with all of them and we're working towards them every single day.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. 'Cause I mean, and also again, like how you started off with, again, it being a need, like the need, like, and again, paying off your debt. That's a big accomplishment, especially as quick as you did it. Like in my opinion, that was pretty quick. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's awesome. So, so what would you consider to be your biggest challenge in the years ahead?
So just kind of like the main thing through what we've been talking about, staffing is always our biggest challenge. One thing with me, I see a lot of great attributes in all people. So one thing that I have a hard time doing is actually screening the staff. And it's not a fault. I guess it's almost like a weakness. I do see the best in people. I want to give people a chance. I want to help them because a lot of the time, especially right now, people are struggling financially. And so if somebody comes to me and says, "Oh, I lost my job because of COVID," I want to be able to say, "Here, take this. I want to give this to you." But I have to be so careful because if they come in and they're not what we're looking for, they could, I guess, destroy our reputation with our clients. We could lose clients, all of these little things. And I'm so thankful for the clients that we have that trust our judgment. But yeah, staffing is definitely the hardest part because we do want to have loyal, dedicated, and hardworking team members who are on the same mission as us as a company. And sometimes it doesn't work out. I mean, I've never really had somebody that's done anything, awful, like stealing. That is one thing I've never had to deal with, stealing, dishonesty, or anything like that. It's more just been either they only want a part-time, which is fine. We do accommodate that. Just no initiative, like little things like that. Or they just don't care to work towards the same mission as bringing the sophistication and professionalism, and they just want a regular cleaning job, which is fine. They're great cleaners. They're just not on that same wavelength as we are. So it is difficult. Staffing is always the biggest challenge. And we have a great team now, and we just want to have more of them to grow and build with and be excited about. So yeah, that's the biggest challenge. But really, again, it's not really even a challenge. It's just part of growing the company and meeting all these new people.
So I got to ask, do your cleaners usually work on teams?
No. So our cleaners usually work by themselves. I mean, if for example we're training, then yes, we will be working in a team or two. Or if say a client called me now and needed a clean tomorrow, and we needed to kind of just be efficient time wise, we would kind of throw two together just to get it done in a shorter amount of time. But for the most part, we do work in singles.
That's great. So I mean, if you are an introvert and you like working alone, then this kind of will work for you.
Yes, definitely.
Especially when you do and learn the kind of the routine of what your clients want and things like that.
Right.
Awesome. So
You just have to really be able to be professional and be friendly to our clients, and then do your thing. That's all I ask.
100%. There's still that important customer service skill. I mean, that is a crucial component of any business.
Definitely.
So are you looking forward to anything in the near future?
Just the general growth and wins of our company as a whole. We are a very, tight-knit family-based company. And even though we don't see each other every day or even weeks sometimes, we do have great culture and morals, where we celebrate wins and growth along the way. And, it's exciting because we do collaborate together. Sometimes the girls will call me and go, hey, we just thought this would be a great thing. And I'm like, oh my God, like, why didn't I think of that? So, those little things that we all work together. And one thing that I hate, and I'm being very honest, when people call me their boss, I hate that. It makes me cringe. And, I feel like we're all a team instead of us being, different levels. So for me, I love when they think about these things and message me at midnight on a Saturday because they thought about something awesome for this client, or they want to implement this, or they think it would be a great thing to do this. And I love that. And that to me is so important, and it excites me so much because they're laying there thinking about the growth of our company. And I call it our company because it is our company, because it's without them, there is no company. I can only do so much on my own, right? So that's why I'm very generous and very, I guess, I'm not really, I guess collaborative would be the best word to say with all of us together. And it is our company and we're working towards the same thing. And I'm very blessed to have them with me. So yeah, just the future celebrations, wins, losses, failures, growth, all of those things. We love discussing. We do our conference calls, we do our meetings, and our Christmas parties are lots of fun. So that's something to look forward to in the very near future. But on a serious note, just the general growth and everything of the company, I'm just really excited for, and I know our team is as well.
Well, again, it sounds like you have a lot going on. Again, you're getting into a product line now too. So, that's something exciting as well. That's a whole other business that you're getting into. That'll be a completely new learning experience.
Yes, just all of that, and working with, we're actually partnering with, they're actually here in Orangeville as well, Knitmoy Labs. They're the ones formulating our product line. So it's very exciting to have something to this extent still from Dufferin County. And I love that. I love collaborating with local business and making it something huge. So the graphic designer right now is working on all of the labeling. They're working on the formulation. Then we're going to do branding and marketing. And I'm just so excited. And it's just going to add that one little touch to our branding and our company that we have to offer. All of our clients have access to our products that we're going to be using in their homes. And it's just so exciting to me. I just get I'm like butterflies, right? And I'm so
Well, it definitely is. And again, it's something that is in their home then. That's again, more branding, more name recognition, things like that. It helps a ton. It helps a ton. So is there anything you'd like to say to the people of Dufferin before we wrap it up?
One, thanks for listening about all of the ins and outs of the company. It is quite a crazy journey that we have been on. To any of my clients listening, I'm so thankful for all of you. Our company is so thankful for your loyalty and your dedication and your trust in us to make your home sparkle. And my staff, if any of my staff are listening, they know that I love them. They know that they're like my children, and I would do anything for them. And thank you guys for building this company with me. And just everybody, I guess, follow your dreams. Don't let your circumstances define you, and chase those goals.
Awesome. And what is the best way to contact Domestic Divas? I know you mentioned your website before. It's domesticdivascleaningco.org.
Yep. So, we're kind of reachable everywhere. Email, Facebook, and Instagram are our biggest things. You can find us everywhere on social. And then email, phone call, if you're looking for a job, if you're looking for a great cleaning company to take care of your stuff, we're the ones. So just reach out to us, and somebody will get in touch with you as soon as possible.
Do you mind just reiterating which locations you cover again, if you don't mind, please?
So we're in Dufferin County, Orangeville, and Shelburne, Malmer, that area. Collingwood, Wasaga, Blue Mountain, Bolton, Alliston, Caledon, and Toronto. I think that's all of them.
Wow. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Danielle. This is appreciated. And to the audience, thank you so much for listening to Dufferin Spotlight on Business.
Thank you so much, Josh. Talk soon.
All right. That's it for this episode of Dufferin Spotlight on Business, and I hope you enjoyed it. Big thanks to Danielle for helping make this possible, and thanks to you, the audience, for listening. To keep up with everything that's going on with Domestic Divas Cleaning Co., including the launch of their new line of cleaning products, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, or check out their website, domesticdivas.org. If you would like to learn more about the people and businesses that make Dufferin what it is, make sure to check back every Tuesday for new episodes. The easiest way to stay up to date is to follow us on social media, subscribe to the Dufferin Spotlight YouTube channel, wherever else you prefer to listen. We're available on pretty much every podcast platform, including Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. If there's somewhere else where you'd like to listen and we're not on it, please let us know through our website. We'll do our best to make it happen. If you haven't yet checked out our last episode, it's with Angela Hughes of Gloml, a local producer of skincare products that are made of all natural, sustainable ingredients that people of all ages will enjoy. With an education in electrical engineering technology and her first job being at the Department of National Defense, Angela has taken an interesting journey to get to where she is today with Gloml, which I'm sure you'll find just as interesting as I did, so this is definitely not one to miss out on. If you would like to learn more about Gloml, check out their website, gloml.ca, and follow them on social media. If there's a local business you would like to see on Dufferin Spotlight on Business, be sure to reach out and let us know. Also, be sure to check out Dufferin News. Anyways, I'm Josh McEwen. Thank you for listening, and until next time, get to know your community and shop local. Thanks.